Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 1957 historical fantasy film The Seventh Seal, originally released by Sphinx Filmindustrie and directed by Ingmar Bergman. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film. This is not just a classic film with critical acclaim and a target of film scholarship we are talking about here. This is a film so significant that it led to the popularity of the American distributor Janus Films. With a film being that crucial, you might already imagine so much happened in the making, and that is what we shall be talking about. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for an existential ride. Ingmar Bergman conceived the idea for The Seventh Seal as an allegory centered on a medieval knight who engages in a chess game with death. This film, a landmark of 1950s art house cinema, explores the knight's existential crisis and his struggle with faith amidst a dark, war-ravaged world. Inspired by the Book of Revelation, it delves into the themes of doubt, despair, and the human condition. Shot in stark black and white by Bergman's regular photographer, Gunnar Fischer, the film vividly captures the 14th century atmosphere of fear and superstition, using striking apocalyptic imagery, including stormy skies and the iconic final Danse Macabre. Ingmar Bergman's inspiration for The Seventh Seal drew from a variety of sources, including his childhood experiences in church, where he was more fascinated by the religious imagery than the sermons themselves. He recalled images like Jesus with the robbers, Mary with St. John, and the knight playing chess with death, which sparked ideas for the film. He also cited Karl Orff's Carmine Burana, which, with its themes of people traveling through the collapse of civilization, helped him solidify the film's direction. Other influences included Picasso's Les Saltimbanques and Durer's Night, Death, and the Devil, as well as the medieval atmosphere of August Strindberg's works. Additionally, early passages in Bergman's own plays, such as The Death of Punch and The Day Ends Early, echoed themes and scenes that would later appear in The Seventh Seal. The film also has cinematic precedents, such as the witch-burning scene, which might have been influenced by Carl Theodor Dreyer's Day of Wrath. Ultimately, the most direct inspiration came from the Bible, with the film's title drawn from the Book of Revelation and its exploration of existential questions reflecting the religious themes that preoccupied Bergman throughout his career. Max von Sydow got his role in The Seventh Seal after being discovered by Ingmar Bergman while performing in theater. Von Sydow, who had decided to become an actor after seeing a production of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, began his formal training at the Royal Dramatic Theatre in 1948. After his military service, he made his film debut in 1949 and quickly gained recognition for his theatrical work. Bergman saw him on stage and invited him to join the Malmö City Theatre in 1955, where they began collaborating. The Seventh Seal was von Sydow's fifth film, marking his first major role and his collaboration with Bergman, which ultimately launched his international career. His portrayal of the disillusioned knight, Antonius Block, brought a unique depth and gravitas to the film, particularly in his chess game with death and his poignant scene, sharing wild strawberries and milk. This role made him one of Sweden's most famous actors and solidified his long-term partnership with Bergman, leading to 11 films together. Bengt Eckerö's role as Death in The Seventh Seal stemmed from his involvement with an earlier project by Ingmar Bergman. The work began as a one-act play Bergman wrote in 1953 to 1954 as an exercise for his acting students at the Malmö Municipal Theatre. The play was based on roles the students suggested, and it evolved into a full-length play, Wood Painting, which had similarities to The Seventh Seal. In this prototype, Death did not appear, and the main role was given to Jons, played by Gunnar Bjornstrand, with Eckerö initially cast as the knight. Wood Painting was first performed as a radio play in 1954, directed by Bergman, and later staged at the Malmö Municipal Theatre and the Royal Dramatic Theatre, with Eckerö directing the latter. This earlier collaboration set the image for Eckerö's iconic portrayal of Death in The Seventh Seal, where his performance became one of the film's most memorable elements. Gunnar Fischer became the cinematographer for The Seventh Seal after establishing himself as Ingmar Bergman's primary collaborator during his early filmmaking period. Fischer, initially a painter and later an assistant cinematographer, was influenced by Greg Toland's deep focus style in Citizen Kane, RKO Radio Pictures 1941, but adapted his technique after collaborating with Carl Theodor Dreyer, who pushed him towards more intense close-ups. Fischer's first collaboration with Bergman was Crisis, Sphinx Filmindustrie, 1946, but it was not until Port of Call, also Sphinx Filmindustrie, this time 1948, that their partnership flourished, with Fischer bringing a semi-documentary feel to the film. Over time, Fischer and Bergman developed a working relationship based on honesty and mutual respect, even as their styles evolved. As Bergman's work became more expressionistic, Fischer contributed to the iconic imagery in films like The Seventh Seal, where his lighting and camera work created a mythical, atmospheric quality, such as the famously cross-lit scene with two suns. Fischer's style of sharp, sculptural imagery continued to define Bergman's films until their collaboration ended with The Devil's Eye, Sphinx Filmindustrie, 1960, after which Sven Nykvist replaced him as Bergman's cinematographer for the next phase of his career. The filming of The Seventh Seal took place primarily at the Rosunda Film Studios in Sweden, with a few notable exceptions. One of the most iconic scenes was filmed at Havshaller, a pebble beach located in Skane in the south of Sweden, where the knight and deaf first play their famous game of chess. The remote location contributed to the film's striking visual. Cinematographer Gunnar Fischer recalls the difficulties of shooting these scenes, including the use of lighting, where each character was illuminated by a 2-kilogram lamp to create the illusion of two suns, a detail that became part of the film's surreal atmosphere. The production faced a number of challenges, including the constraints of time and resources. Many scenes were shot under rush conditions, with the crew working on tight schedules and often improvising. A memorable example was the scene where Ravel, played by Bertil Anderberg, succumbs to plague in a forest. As Fischer filmed the scene, he was about to stop the camera when an unexpected break in the clouds allowed light to pour into the shot, adding an element of serendipity to the scene. Similarly, during the Burning Witch execution scene, a crowd of curious children gathered, and the fire preparation, managed by a young fire captain, led to chaotic moments, including smoke engulfing the entire area and interfering with the shot. Filming The Seventh Seal was done quickly due to both time and financial constraints, which Bergman described as a rushed process that added to a unique sense of urgency to the project. Despite this, the tight schedule and limited resources seemed to benefit the film, allowing it to capture a raw, theatrical energy. Bergman and his team had to work under significant pressure, shooting scenes with minimal time, such as the beach scenes, which were completed in just 3 days. The actors even carried the cameras, and costumes were borrowed from the theater. Though Bergman acknowledged the film's theatricality and its unbalanced mix of realism and expressionism, he embraced the hurried nature of the production, viewing it as an exercise in craftsmanship and enthusiasm. In the end, the film's quick and inventive creation contributed to its powerful atmosphere, with its medieval themes of death, faith, and despair striking a deep emotional chord. The final scene of the film, the haunting Danse Macabre, where death leads his victims in a procession, was also subject to unforeseen circumstances. Originally planned to be shot at the end of the day due to an approaching storm, the crew had already packed up. However, Bergman noticed a strange cloud formation and instructed cinematographer Fischer to quickly set up the camera again. Since several actors had already left, the crew enlisted some grips and tourists to stand in for them, and within minutes, the iconic shot was captured. This impromptu moment became one of the most famous and enduring images in cinematic history, highlighting how chance and creativity often intersect in filmmaking. Erik Nordgren became the composer for The Seventh Seal after establishing a long professional relationship with director Bergman that began in the late 1940s. Initially working as the resident music director at Sphinx Filmindustrie, Nordgren scored several of Bergman's previous and later films, including Smiles of a Summer Night, 1955, Wild Strawberries, 1957, and The Magician, 1958. Their collaboration was rooted in Nordgren's minimalistic approach to scoring, often creating suspense with subtle instrumentation like a solo guitar or drum. Bergman, known for his keen sense of musicality, would often provide Nordgren with the film script and later, during editing, offer guidance on specific musical moments, such as when he points out a rare low tone played by the double basses in The Seventh Seal. Although Nordgren worked uncredited on some projects in the 60s, his music continued to influence Swedish cinema, and he later composed for films by other directors like Jan Troell. Nordgren's music, particularly his use of folk melodies, remains celebrated, and his legacy has seen a resurgence, especially after Here Is Your Life was restored, reintroducing his work to a new generation of film enthusiasts. As of the 3rd of February 2025, The Seventh Seal has a 93% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, an 88 out of 100 critics score on Metacritic, an 8.1 rating on IMDb, and a 4.3 rating on Letterboxd. Janus Films, founded in 1956, played a crucial role in introducing foreign and art house cinema to American audiences, with one of its most significant moments being the US release of The Seventh Seal. This success helped solidify the company's reputation, leading to its purchase by William J. Becker and Saul J. Turrell in 1965, who expanded its influence. Janus Films became a vital platform for bringing renowned directors like Akira Kurosawa and Federico Fellini to American recognition. Their success eventually led to the creation of the Criterion Collection, a subsidiary of Janus, which revolutionized film distribution by providing special editions with added content, including audio commentary and film stills. William J. Becker's role in forming a partnership with Voyager Company in the 1980s paved the way for the Criterion's growth, and his legacy continues through the influential work of the company in preserving and presenting classic films to audiences. The 50th anniversary screenings of The Seventh Seal became a problematic event for Ingmar Bergman, as the film, despite its low budget, had evolved into a prestige of Svensk film industry's celebration of Swedish cinema's golden age. Bergman recalled the experience with bitterness, describing the gala premiere as a catastrophe for the film. The formal society-driven event, complete with speeches and fanfare, was at odds with the film's serious and artistic nature. Bergman felt powerless to prevent the discomfort and disdain of the audience, whose boredom and hostility, he believed, overwhelmed the true spirit of the film. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of The Seventh Seal. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of The Seventh Seal, or if you have any favorite moments from that film we did not touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films will be talked about by this channel each week. New posts arrive every Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about Iron Man, Paramount Pictures 2008, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.